Want to learn a handstand? Here are 7 steps that will help you do just that. The first step is warming up, but that's not really a step, since you should be doing it before every workout. The most important part of your body to warm up is the wrist, as it's really easy to injure it, speaking from experience. To do this, get down on all fours and circle over your wrists, putting some weight on them. Start with your palms down and facing away from you, then palms up and facing towards you, and finally palms down and facing towards you. Do 10 circles in each direction for each position. Then, in a push-up position, gradually lean forward as far as you can, putting more weight on your wrist with each repetition. After about 10 reps, stretch your wrists in the opposite direction and your warm-up is complete. The second step is strength. As obvious as it may sound, if you're not strong enough to hold your body weight with straight arms above your head, you won't be able to do a handstand. But how do you develop this strength? In my opinion, the best exercise for this is the bike push-up. It's the body weight equivalent of the shoulder press, but in this situation is superior to it because it's more specific to the handstand position and it also gets your wrists used to holding up your body weight. If you can do 5 clean bike push-ups, you're ready to start learning the handstand. The third step is kicking up, and to learn this, we'll have to move to a wall. Throughout this whole process, the wall will be your best friend. You'll spend quite a lot of time with it, just like I did as a kid. I didn't have friends, so I drew some on the wall and talked to them. To perform the kick-up, stand with one leg in front of the other and place your hands about a foot away from the wall. Then, bend your knees slightly, swing your back leg upward, and kick up with your front leg until your back leg touches the wall. Your first attempts will look like this, but over time, you'll overcome your fear and find the wall. Remember, the goal isn't to get your legs up, but to get your hips over your shoulders. If you manage to do that, your legs will naturally follow. The fourth step is alignment. If you don't want to look like a banana, you need to learn how to stand straight from the start. To practice this, kick up into a handstand against the wall, supporting yourself with one leg while keeping your entire body straight. For this step, I highly recommend filming yourself from the side to identify and correct mistakes. Once you've mastered standing straight, it's time for the fifth step, balancing, which is undoubtedly the hardest part. It took me months to consistently hold a handstand for 5 or more seconds, so don't get frustrated if you can't learn to balance in 10 minutes. It takes time. To balance, you need to learn how to counter falling forward or backward. But how? Stand on your feet and observe what your body naturally does to balance. When falling forward, you press your toes into the ground, creating counterbalance to prevent falling forward. Simple. But what about falling backward? Since you don't have toes on the back of your foot, you create counterbalance by leaning forward. The same principles apply in the handstand. When falling forward, press your fingers into the ground, but when falling backward, create counterbalance by slightly bending your arms and leaning forward. That's why it's recommended to have your fingers slightly bent rather than completely straight. It allows you to press them into the ground more effectively. To practice balancing, simply kick up into a handstand against the wall and try to balance. If you fall too far forward, use the wall for support, but if you fall too far back, kick up and try again. At this stage, the most important thing is to spend as much time as possible in the handstand position, which is best achieved by using the wall to eliminate the possibility of falling forward, which would just needlessly fatigue you. Once you've gotten fairly good at balancing, you're ready to move away from the wall, which is the sixth step, landing. As they say, before you learn to fly, you must learn to fall. Proper landing technique helps you avoid unnecessary injuries and should be mastered before attempting the unsupported handstand. But what does it look like? Kinda similar to a cartwheel. Choose the side you want to fall toward. Lift that hand off the ground, place it in front of the other, and land on that side's foot. There are other ways to land, but not all are as practical. Finally, once you've mastered landing, you're ready for the last step, the freestanding handstand. Congrats! From here, you can move on to learning handstand push-ups, straight arm handstand presses, or bend arm handstand presses. If you'd like me to create a video on these skills, let me know in the comments. Peace!